shot collars, brawlers, who be dipping in the bins with the spoilers, with the Jake and the Taurus, trying to get my hands on some grants like Horace. Yeah, living the raw deal. 3-course meal, spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal, but still, everything's real in the field. And what you can't have now, leave in your will. But don't knock me for trying to bury you. 7 zeros over in Rio de Janeiro. Ain't nobody's hero, but I want to be her. In the hot 9-7 every day, that's my word. Swimming in with their own condominiums, 5 plus 5. Who dropped millenniums? It's all about the Benjamins. What? Hey, y'all. Y'all already know how I do. Y'all already know how I do on Wealth Wednesdays. It's not a class unless we pull up with a couple of bars. It's all about the Benjamins. What? Today we're going to be having class, and we're going to be talking about how we can earn at least $1,000 a month in the real estate industry. I'm going to give you the game straight up, no chaser. But you know, we got to get into the mood because this week, y'all, this week has been a little bit heavy. And I hope that you found your happiness. I hope that you found your peace. I hope that you found your core, even in the midst of all of this foolishness, of all of this death, of all of this crime, and that you remember that you come from a people, right, who have persisted even past Jim Crow, who have dominated despite discrimination and still emerged all black boy joy and black girl magic, because that's what black excellence is. So tonight we're going to be talking about how we can compete as equals in a capitalist economy, right? By capitalizing, right? By snatching those dollars that have been raining all over the real estate industry for the past year. Now tonight, y'all, we're going to be talking about 3 real estate side hustles. And you know what they say in the memes? It says, don't wait to buy land and wait. And that's exactly what's been happening over the past year and some change. Millennials been out here buying homes, buying condos, buying townhomes, right? They not brunching no more. I'm a millennial. You know, we not brunching no more. We ain't happy houring like we used to. We staycationing up in our living rooms, and we got some change in our pocket, right? So we're using it in responsible ways and investing it in the real estate industry. So right now it's hot. The real estate market is hot. And one of the things that's really interesting about the market today is that supply is low. So there are very few homeowners putting their property out on the market, right? But supply is low, but demand is high. And you know what that means, right? Anybody who stood in line, virtual line for Yeezys, anybody who's waiting for the iPhone but got Sprint service so you can't use it anyway. Yes, that was a little tea, that was a little shade. You know what it's like to want an item, right, that is in short supply but high demand. Now, real estate is in high demand, and the reason why is because people have extra cash. Some people, right? Because we want to be sensitive of all of the economic situations going on. People have extra cash, and mortgage rates are at a historic low. All right? So that means that people feel like they can buy property at a discount, right? So they're waiving things like home inspections. They're waiving things like contingencies, and they're getting into these homes quick because they know that they're going to be spending a lot of time in them as we try to figure out how to emerge from this pandemic. So let's get right to it. Yeah, somebody said not Sprint. Y'all already know how Sprint works. I got Verizon, so it works anywhere. It works anywhere. Please, live, don't embarrass me tonight. You know, with Sprint, I'd be like, hello, can you hear me? They'd be like, what you say, girl? But we ain't going there. Verizon. Hold on, let me flip a braid for it. So, the first thing we're going to be talking about tonight, we're going to be talking about how you can capitalize off the real estate industry as an associate, agent, independent contractor. Say that 10 times fast. So, an associate, agent, independent contractor. And this is a real estate professional who is able to show homes, take people on multi-home tours, be present during home inspections, okay? And also be present during any walkthroughs. And they're present in the absence of a real estate agent. So think about someone who is an attorney versus a paralegal. So this person does some real estate agent, really a lead agent's responsibilities, but not all of them. Here's the thing about an associate agent independent contractor. On sites like Redfin that allow for sellers to list their homes directly to a site where buyers can also purchase it, and both of them can split and get, a little piece of the commission, or at least get a lower commission on the seller side, and on the buyer side get a kickback. We can talk about that in another second. But essentially, as an associate agent independent contractor, you can set your own schedule. So you essentially tell a real estate agent, or you tell your brokerage account, your broker or your real estate broker, when you can show a home, when you can take a couple on a multi-home tour, right? When you can do a home inspection, when you can do an open house, and depending on what you say your availability is, they schedule you. And the beauty about a position like this is that you can work 9 to 5, and if you decide that you want to do an open house, or you decide that you want to take a couple or take a single man, single woman to go see a home at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, then you can work on the hours, right, where you're not on the clock. Now, I want you to think about this, right? Because how many jobs provide this type of flexibility? I want to challenge you to go into your 9 to 5 right now and tell your boss, hold on now, I know I'm supposed to be here 9 to 5, but Monday I want to work 1 to 3. Tuesday I want to work 9 to 11. Wednesday I want to work 3 to 5. And Friday I'm not coming in. I want you to hear your boss's reaction when you tell them you want to set your own schedule, but you want the same salary. The greatest thing about an associate agent independent contractor is that you choose which hours you want to work. Now, if you do decide to pursue this position, one of the things that I found is that, one, you should work on the weekends, because think about it. When people are looking to buy homes, normally they're looking at it on the weekend. They don't work 9 to 5, right, for their separate but unequal paycheck. And on the weekends, they're searching for their asset, right? They're searching for their homes. People make the most money on sites like Redfin as an associate agent, also when they show homes in the afternoon and also the evening hours. Now, here's what you can get paid as an associate agent, right? Because we want to get to the money, make everybody mad, right? Like Beyonce says, I'm getting to the money. Hey, everybody mad, or maybe that's OT Genesis or a mix of both, right? I love Homecoming, shout out to B. But you can make anywhere between $30 and $120 depending on what type of work you do. So if you do a showing, right? So that just means that you arrive at a home, you open the door, right? You let the people in, you show them around. Here's the living room, here's the bathroom, here's the kitchen, right? Here's where you're gonna Netflix and chill in the family room. Here's the backyard where you're gonna have the cookouts. You're gonna invite your aunt to come at 4 o'clock. She's gonna pull up at 7 o'clock, talk about where the mac and cheese at. So you show the home. You can make anywhere between $30 to $60 for a 3-home tour. So that means that you're driving a couple, or they're following you if you're driving from one home to the next, right? Within a 2 or 3 hour period. That's $50 to $120. For an open house or a home inspection, you can get paid up to $100 or $120. So I'm not sure if any of you all have been to a home inspection, but that can take anywhere from an hour, 2 hours. And if you break down the math, think about your hourly rate. I want you to put $100,000 in Google right now. If you put $100,000 in Google right now, that's going to translate to about $50 an hour. Come on now. $50 an hour. So if you're at a home inspection for an hour and a half and you get paid $100, right? Or if you're at a home inspection for an hour and you get paid $100, you're getting paid twice that of someone who has $100,000 salary, which makes this so unique and so special. And here's one thing that I really like about Redfin's associate agent's position is that you can get paid if someone cancels. Now, we know that time is a non-replenishable asset. That's how we started this live. So that means if someone cancels on you at the last minute, so you done pulled up, right? You done pulled up to a house, right? You ready to show them. They call you at 5:05 for a showing that was supposed to take place at 4:30. Talk about, I ain't coming. I ain't doing it. You get paid $25. So either way, your time is compensated for how you decide to contribute as an associate agent. 5 jobs, right? 5 jobs can gross you anywhere between $700 to $1,000 a week. And I'm going to break down, all right? I'm going to break down how that works, right? How I've seen it work with my mom, who's a lead real estate agent and works with associate agents, and how much I've seen a lot of college students, young professionals make, helping her show homes to her clients. Now, before we do that, let's talk talk about the requirements, right? So someone's like, oh, where can I apply? Where can I go? Hold on now. Hold on, just hold on. We need to talk about what's required for you to be an associate agent independent contractor, right? How can you make between $7,000 and $700 and $2,600 a month working this job on the weekends and in the evenings, right? First, some brokers require you to have your real estate, your driver's license. Let's start there, your driver's license, okay? This was more of a requirement pre-pandemic because the people who you were showing, especially on multi-home tours, will be riding in your back seat or riding shotgun with you. That's changed a little bit because during the pandemic, right, people aren't necessarily riding with their agents. They're trailing behind them in their cars on multi-home tours, or they're meeting them at the property in order for showing. So some brokers don't require a driver's license and some do. Secondly, right, and for a lot of people, they hear this second requirement and they're like, oh no, Keys, I don't want to do it. But just bear with me. You're going to need to get a realtor's license, okay? So you're going to need a realtor's license. Now, I'm country, so when I say realtor, I like to put an A in there because I think it gives it a little attitude. Realtor's license, but you're supposed to say realtor. You got to get a realtor's license. And I'm going to walk you through all the different steps that it takes for you to get this license, and I promise you that it's really easy, and it's the best investment that you can make to get a part-time job, again, that can gross you up to $2,000 to $3,000 per month. First, you gotta be over 18 years old, all right? So for the babies in the room, I want you to take notes, age a couple years, and we'll welcome you over to the associate agent side. You gotta be a U.S. citizen, and you also have to be a resident within the state that you plan to work. Also, one of the requirements for a realtor's license is that you can, all right, sorry, I read a comment. One of the things that you have to do is you have to either have your high school diploma or you have to have a GED, all right? So if you didn't graduate from high school, that's fine. GED is normally the requirement. And the reason why is because the level of courses that you're taking, they're going to make sure, right, that you keep up. So the next thing is, you want to check with your real estate commission on what the requirements are. So usually when people talk about the realtor's license examination, right, and all of the requirements that you have to take, they're speaking from their point of view, right? So if you live in Virginia, but you're talking to someone who got the realtor's license in Oregon, they're going to talk to you about their experience on the left coast, but you on the East Coast, and it may differ, okay? So what I'm going to speak to is the ranges, right? Ranges for you to consider as you pursue this particular credential. Most realtor examinations require that you go through pre-licensing qualifications. So what that means is that you're probably going to have to take between 60 to 90 hours of college level courses that teaches you about titles, deeds, right, mortgages, home inspections, because they can't be having you out there representing a broker, right, and you don't understand the knowledge that you have to convey to the buyer. How brokers like Redfin make their money is by convincing buyers to purchase homes that are listed on their sites. And so you have to be intelligent. You already know, right, what I say about intelligence and education and making yourself smart. Don't swim in an ocean of knowledge and drown in ignorance. Come on, somebody caught that. Now, if you work full time, 60 to 90 hours translates to 2 to 3 weeks. So some people self-pace. You can take these classes online. You can take them in person. Some of them are live courses, so you'll be able to interact with the instructor. And some of them are pre-recorded. So you're going to have to choose which one is best for your schedule. All right? It's going to cost you between $200 and $1,000 to get this license, all right? But keep in mind that you can profit or you can generate revenue anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So the $200 to $1,000 that you spend on these courses, you'll get back in a month if you're motivated, all right? You want to make sure that any courses that you take are accredited by the state in which you want to work. Now, I know that there are a lot of enterprise and entrepreneurs. They got a ring light, got an iPhone, got some Sprint service, right? And decided to hop up in front of their phone and make a 5-course special on real estate. Not saying it's not good content. I'm just saying that if it's not accredited, right, you need to get going, right? So So if it's not accredited, you need to find one that is. And so when you go to the site, you want to make sure that you look at their About Us page and you find their licenses, credentials, and check it on the state website. There have been people who have gone through courses, who have spent 30 hours learning all about titles and deeds. They get their certification, and unfortunately the certification is not recognized by their state. And so that means now they have to go back and go through the same 60 hours, the same 70 hours, right? So that's on top of what they already spent in order to go with a compliant educational provider. So make sure that you find that, okay? Now, once you get your education on, right? Once you get all smart, right? You be walking, you know, when people, when they learn something new, they be all, you know, they be calling you to be like, girl, did you know that the quantum physics of the solar energy, pi plus 35 equals 0.34? And you be like, hold on now, time out. Now, we weren't even talking about this last week when your boyfriend broke up with you, but you read a periodical today, and all of a sudden you want to check my knowledge, you know? So after you finish those real estate courses, you're going to be feeling real smart. But after you finish your real estate courses, you want to make sure that you get your certification, and you take that certification, and what you do is then you take that, and that helps qualify you to take the actual realtor's exam. All right. So once you finish those pre-licensing courses, now you're going to take your licensing exam. And depending on what state you live in, that whole exam is going to be anywhere between 100 and 120 questions. Multiple choice, right? So the smart folks going to be like, I know for a fact it's C, and some of y'all going to be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, touch a real estate agent by her toe, right? But it's going to be multiple choice. But the exam is not free. So you're going to pay anywhere between $15 and $60 to take the exam. And depending on what state in which you live, you can pass with a 50%, or you have to pass with all the way up to a 75%. And that's why I say when you're taking the realtor's exam, right, it's important for you to know the rules of your state, right? Because you don't want to be coming up in there talking about all I got to do is get half, right? Eeny, meeny, miny, 50, right? 50%. 50 cents for 50%. But in your state, perhaps the rule is 75%. So make sure that you know before you go. You know, don't they tell you that before you go to the bathroom? When do they say no before you go? Is it before you get on a roller coaster ride? I don't know. You know the no before you go. That's the people that's a poet and didn't even know it. So after you do that, after you finish your license exam, you want to make sure that you file your paperwork for the actual license. Okay, so that's going to cost you anywhere between $50 and $250. You're going to have to go through a background check. So make sure that nose is clean, right? You already know what's in your background. You know, only your mama know. Maybe your boo know, right? That's why he don't talk to you no more. None of my business, right? So make sure that you can pass a background check, because they don't want just anybody showing people vacant homes, right? So you're going to have to do a background check. That's going to cost you between $40 and $80. And then also you're going to have to get an errors and omissions insurance, right? So that's just in case something happens on site with the client and they decide to sue you, they can't take all your money, all right? So all in all, to get your realtor's license is going to cost anywhere between $300 and $1,400. And depending on how committed you are, it can take anywhere from 2 to 12 weeks. Now, I saw someone in the comment section and they were like, why don't you just be a real estate agent? Well, there's some people who don't necessarily want to hold a buyer's hand throughout the sale, right? They just want to hop in, do a couple hours of work, and get paid. And as an associate agent independent contractor, this is an excellent opportunity for you to get paid for doing a minimal amount of work, okay? So let's kind of walk through it. You know, how's the money looking? So let's say one Saturday, you decide to do 1 3-home tour, right? So you decide to go with the couple, right? You got Debo, you got Keisha. You decide to show them 3 homes, right? It takes you 4 hours because they driving 20 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone, right? So you start, right? But they just, you know, they're taking their time. They're counting the trees, they're counting the leaves, they're counting the lines in the road. They're taking their time. It took you 4 hours, right? Then you decide that you want to do 2 home inspections, right? So in that weekend or that day for Saturday, that will earn you about $300. Let's say you do the same thing on Sunday, but you have 2 cancellations. That's $350. So that means one weekend you can make $650. Come on now. Come on now, $650. Some of you all spend $650 in a weekend, all right? You be in the mall, you be at the outlets, you be brunching with a party of one because they told you needed to socially distance. We'll spend $650 in a weekend, but don't know how to make $650 in a weekend. If you do that every weekend for 4 weeks, then that translates into $2,600. For some of you all, that's your rent. For many of you all, that's your mortgage. For some of you all, that's your student loan payment. We already know that some of you all student loan payments feel a lot like a mortgage. So if you're saying that you could spend anywhere between 4 to 5 hours on Saturday and Sunday during the brunch hour showing people homes to make $2,600, connect with them on happy hour now that you got some cash in your pocket, this is the perfect side hustle to earn over $1,000, sometimes $2,600 in a month. Okay? So, how y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Look, when I think about making money, right? When I think about ways in which we can multiply our streams of income, child, let me tell you, it makes me want to turn on my music and start thinking all about the Benjamins, right? So let's keep going. So we talked about the associate agent, independent contractor. So the other way, here's another way that you can make at least $1,000 a month in the real estate industry. And this is called being handy. All right, being handy. How can you be handy in the real estate agents, in the real estate industry rather? So we know that there are a lot of homeowners who are purchasing homes without contingencies. So that means that it's like, you know what? This home don't got to have a new roof, right? This home can have, leaks all up and through the basement, right? This home can have floor shingles just literally popping up off the floor, you walking tripping, right? People are just being real competitive with their bids. And as a result, some people are moving into homes that require work. Because of that, there has been the rise of the handy person, BKA, better known as the handyman or the handy woman. Now, the thing with handymen and handy women is these are individuals that can perform jobs within a home that don't require a general contractor's license. And this is important because getting a general contractor's license can be extremely expensive. It can take up a lot of time. And so handy people, right, who are good at wallpapering. So if you're good at wallpapering, if you've done a DIY painting your walls, if you've ever done like doorbell security, that's a huge one right now because people aren't really going to the ADTs or going to the Vectors. There's a lot of people just buying a ring off the shelf at Best Buy. If you have a drill, right? If you have a drill, you know how to get through the drywall, you know how to plug the joint through brick, then that's an easy $200-300 that you could be making each month simply by going to buy the ring and install it at a new homeowner's place that doesn't yet have security. If you know anything about shelving, so there's a lot of you all who, you're an avid reader like me. Look at this. I got the old school shelves. I got a whole bookcase, but some people know how to put shelves on walls. People will pay you to do things like that. Same with flooring. So like if you know how to put in flooring, again, that's all you. If you know how to organize a closet, again, that's a way for you to make money. So any DIY project that you've done in your own home, you can be a handy person to another couple or another person who's purchased a home, who's looking to hire someone at a price that is lower than a general contractor's. Now, when it comes down to handy projects, here are some of the parameters. The project must be casual, minor, and non-consequential, right? Say that 3 times fast. Essentially, can you do it and the house not fall down all 4 walls, right? Can you make the house cute? Can you make the house functional and the homeowners don't come back and all they got is a plot of dirt? Can you do that? Can you be handy? All right? Yes, landscaping can be one. Also, putting up fences can be another one. These don't require a general contractor's license. Now let's talk about it, right? Because here's the thing about handy people, right? Handy men and handy women is that in some states, there are people who do general contracting work under the guise of being handy, right? Which means they'll say, oh yeah, I could take down your wall. They ain't never held a hammer in their life, but they know you're gonna pay them $2,000 to try. So the state will go out and they'll actively try to find people who are breaking the law as though they don't have anything else to do, right? So essentially, you want to look for board for contractors in your state. So for the state of Virginia, for example, I will put board for contractors Virginia, or you can go to nextinsurance.com. All right. So that's nextinsurance.com. And that will tell you what are the laws that exist within your state. So I did that for the state where I live, which is the state of Virginia. And essentially what the rules are is that I can go and I can do handy jobs across the state as long as they cost less than $1,000 labor and materials, right? So that means that if I'm putting in shelving for someone, or if I'm doing something with their closet, as long as the materials that I purchase with their money and also the labor cost that they compensate me for is less than $1,000, then I don't need an expensive general contractor's license. The other thing is, for Virginia, you have to complete a few hours, not 60 or 90 like the realtor's license, but you have to complete just a few hours of pre-licensing courses just to make sure that you're aware of how to handle people's homes responsibly. And finally, you have to decide whether you're going to get a Class A, B, or C license. And a Class A license is just for those contractors that are doing minor jobs. Class B, I think you can make up to $150,000 a year doing jobs for people. And Class C, that's the big boys. That's the general contractors that's knocking out walls, right? They're moving plumbing. They're putting bathrooms on the roof, right? They're putting living rooms on the floor. You know, they doing all of that. They out here making money, right? But you just want to make $1,000 or fewer. So I want you to think about that. And again, the laws change from state to state. So if you live in California and you're doing a job that costs over $500, you have to get a contractor's license. If you live in the state of Arizona and you're trying to do work, right, that's over $750, you need a contractor's license. But generally for most states, it's below $1,000, okay? Perfect. So what do you do after that? So once you decide that you want to be a handy person, though you might not need a contractor's license, you will need to go ahead and register your business name with the state, right? So you want to make sure that you do business as something else, right? So I'm Professor Keys, but I might want to be Keys Cabinet Industries Incorporated, right? So you want to register your business name. You want to make sure that you become an LLC. So that's a limited liability company. So that means if anything happens, right, you put the shelves up and Keisha walks by, one book falls on her head. She gets mad. She sues you for $700. She know that book costs $2. Book costs $2, she sue you for $700. She had a hard head, didn't even hurt her, right? But she want to sue you for $700. A limited liability company protects your personal assets from your business assets. Then you want to make sure that you obtain a business license. Now, a business license is separate than a contractor's license, and that just allows you to do business in your state, right? It allows you to be on record. You want to make sure you get health insurance. So, you know, Keisha got hit in the head with a book. You know, perhaps you in there and you trying to, you know, you doing shelving, right? You doing shelving, you pull up one of them floorboards, a spider just jumps up, bites you in the jaw. You out 3 days. You know, it's not even a spider. It wasn't even a spider, it was an ant. But, you know, it scared you so bad, you just need to sit down and be quiet for 72 hours, right? Workman's comp. Sounds like it to me. So, and then finally, for every job, you want to make sure that you check and see if you need a permit, right? So you want to make sure that you check and see if you need a permit. So we talked about an associate agent, independent contractor. We also talked about how you can be a handy woman, handyman, a handy person without having to get a general contractor's license. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is one of the major hacks that's going on, y'all, in my life right now. Let me tell you something. Here's the thing about real estate, right? When you're buying your first property, it's important for you to look, in my opinion, at properties that you can house hack. So one of the things that I purchased recently was a duplex. And one of the things that we have been talking about, right, is how you can enter into a home, not just as a homeowner, but also as a landlord. And there are so many different ways that you can take a home that you purchase with your hard-earned money and pass your mortgage expenses off to a tenant. One of the things that we've been taught for a long time is that duplexes is one building right next to another, but maybe you're in the market to buy a home. A duplex can also be one unit on top of another. So you want to be looking for homes that have basement units. And when you look for a home with a basement unit, you want to make sure that it has a separate entrance. So some people forget that, the real estate agents, you got the associate agent out here showing you properties. You want to make sure that you have a basement that has a separate entrance and also has a bathroom and a kitchen, all right? Because then you can turn your basement into a unit and make a single family home a duplex, right? So if your mortgage is $2,000, but a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in your community is going for $1,500, then that means that your tenant is paying over 75% of the rent. Also, if you're buying a single family home, you want to make sure, let's say it's one floor. Let's say you're buying a rancher. Maybe it's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's just you. It's just you. Maybe you got a cat, right? You got a cat named Kitty, right? Cat named Kitty. You and your cat. You know that you just moved out of a studio. There's nothing you're going to do with the other bedroom and the other bathroom. Versus go in there sometimes, get yourself a little vitamin D, a little sunshine on your face. A way that you can bring your mortgage expenses down. Rent out that separate bedroom. A lot of people don't like to share space because they don't want to share their bathroom, right? So you can share you can rent your bedroom, rent the other bathroom, and bring your mortgage expenses down. The thing about buying your first home is a lot of first-time homeowners don't anticipate all of the different expenses that it takes for you to acquire a deed, from a mortgage, from the mortgage insurance, right? Homeowners insurance, home warranty, landscaping, right? So many different things that you have to think about. Trash, sewers, right? You have to pay your utilities, your cable bill, etc. There are so many different expenses that you may not have to worry about as a renter. And so when you're thinking about first-time home ownership, always thinking about buying a home where you can rent a room or you can rent a basement, okay? So that concludes my live, y'all. I just want to see you great energy as you go out and try to do your side hustle and make you $1,000 a month. You already know how I feel about winning, right? And learning is that you either win or you learn. You only lose if you quit. One of the greatest side hustles that I've had in my life is being able to work alongside my mom, who has been in the real estate industry for over 40 years. And because I've learned at the feet of a financial giant, I've been able to reduce my housing expenses for the past 10 plus years by using these hacks. So until next Wednesday, I love you all. Have a good night.